Mixed martial arts companies are hard to sustain. There's no end to the financial difficulties associated with running such a business, between the money and the angry cage fighters demanding more pay. This is a list of companies that were either successful at one point or were just one and done. These are MMA promotions that eventually went under. Affliction originally started as a clothing company that launched in 2005, with t-shirt designs featuring skulls, crosses, and other douchebag-related imagery. Before the Reebok deal, Affliction sponsored several UFC fighters, including former champion Randy Couture, but was later banned from sponsoring future UFC events after starting their own MMA company under the name Affliction Entertainment, which was backed by Donald Trump, so you knew it was going to be good.
The place is sold out. Pay-per-view is going through the roof.
Affliction held their first event in 2008, featuring several high-profile fighters, such as Fedor Emelianenko, Tim Sylvia, Andrei Arlovski, and Josh Barnett. The company started with a bang and paid out over $3 million to fighters in their first event, with Tim Sylvia getting paid $800,000 in a fight that lasted a mere 36 seconds. In their second event, Andrei Arlovski was paid $1.5 million in a fight that lasted just over 3 minutes. It quickly became evident this wasn't a sustainable business, with the former Affliction head later stating, "The payroll was way over the top. It was stupid, and it was ridiculous how much some of the guys were paid." They were set to hold their third event a year later, with Fedor Emelianenko once again as the main event, this time facing off against Josh Barnett. 11 days before the event, the California Athletic Commission announced that Josh Barnett would not be issued a license to fight after failing a pre-fight drug test. Barnett tested positive for anabolic steroids, and the entire event was canceled. The cancellation also signaled the end of Affliction as an MMA company as well, and they quickly reverted back to what they were good at in the first place: producing douchebag-related imagery. Barnett denied taking steroids, and also denies taking steroids when he was first busted for steroids at UFC 34, and when he was busted again in 2002. Oh, and he also denies his fourth PED bust from 2016. Elite XC was a fight promotion that held and co-promoted at least 20 events from 2007 to 2008, and the entire company only took 14 seconds to come crashing down. Elite XC was one of the few MMA companies to secure major television deals for their events, signing a deal with Showtime as well as CBS. At the head of the company was boxing promoter Gary Shaw and his son Jared Shaw. The company invested heavily into promoting former Street Fighter Kimbo Slice as their marquee fighter.
Kimbo Slice wins the main event! Wow!
Every egg Elite XC owned was placed inside Kimbo's precarious basket, and when he fell, the company soon followed.
Incredible victory in the history of mixed martial arts!
Elite XC held their last event in 2008, which was originally supposed to see Kimbo Slice taking on Ken Shamrock. But after Shamrock suffered an injury warming up for the fight, a replacement was found on short notice: UFC veteran Seth Petruzzelli. Kimbo was expected to defeat Petruzzelli quite handily, but in MMA, things rarely go as planned. Anyone with any depth of knowledge knew that Petruzzelli was a legitimate threat, but most casual fans merely saw him as a goat, ready to be sacrificed to the great Kimbo Slice.
He's gonna eat the goat? Excellent.
Unfortunately for Gary and Jared Shaw, the GOAT fought back and knocked out Kimbo Slice in just 14 short seconds.
Slice in trouble! Oh my goodness! Slice gets pounded out! And they stop it!
If you look closely, you can see the exact moment the Shaws saw their hopes and dreams dashed on the rocks. Controversy arose after the fight when Seth Petruzzelli stated in an interview that Elite XC officials promised to pay him more to stand and box with Kimbo, being that Kimbo's biggest weakness was his ground game. They assumed Kimbo's best chance to win was standing up. They were wrong.
What these guys did is they went in and said, listen, this guy sucks on the ground. Don't take him to the ground and we'll give you a bunch of money. That's fight tampering. You're trying to fix the outcome of a fight. Didn't work for them, but that's what they were trying to do.
After their cash cow was slaughtered, and amidst the talk of fight fixing, the company was shut down just 2 weeks later. Pride Fighting Championships was the epitome of Japanese MMA during its heyday. From the pageantry, the showmanship, and the warrior spirit displayed by the fighters were what made Pride a rare, once-in-a-lifetime event. The organization held some of the most legendary figures in the sport, such as Fedor Emelianenko, Mirko Cro Cop, Wanderlei Silva, and many more, with almost every fighter oozing synthetic chemicals. Pride ran for over 10 years, holding their first event in 1997 and their final show in 2007, producing over 60 events in total.
Can Redmond take it around?
Financial troubles arose after Dream Stage Entertainment, the former owners of Pride, lost a television deal with Fuji TV, a major part of their revenue stream in Japan.
Dan, I told you, he picked him up and slammed him to the ground!
Fuji TV severed ties with Pride after a local news magazine accused Pride owners of being associated with the Yakuza, the Japanese mafia. Shortly after, it was announced that Dream Stage sold Pride to the UFC for a reported $65 million.
We'll continue to make Pride a preeminent brand and grow this business around the globe.
The UFC were meant to keep Pride running and holding regular events in Japan, but were unable to secure a TV deal. As Dana White stated, "I can't get a TV deal over there with Pride. I don't think they want us there. I don't think they want me there." Pride was then shut down entirely, never to host another event again.
The UFC, when they went in and bought Pride, it's kind of a crazy story, but they paid $65 million. They bought Pride, and they thought, hey, we're going to run Pride as well as the UFC. The same way they did with Strikeforce when they bought Strikeforce. They kept Strikeforce going for years. They thought they were going to do that. But meanwhile, it turned out all their contracts were illegal. They really didn't have anybody under contract. They spent $65 million, and all they really got was a video library.
Most of the fighters moved over to the UFC and had varying degrees of success, with Minotauro Nogueira winning the interim heavyweight title, Shogun Rua winning the light heavyweight title. The IFL stands for the International Fight League, a league consisting of several teams, each with a stable of fighters and a head coach. The teams would square off and compete. At the end of the season, a champion would be crowned. And yes, it's as dumb as it sounds.
The IFL World Premiere season comes down to two powerhouse teams with two dominating fighting styles. Enzo Gracie's Pitbulls take on Pat Militrich's Silverbacks at the 2007 World Championship Finals.
The format was similar to other league sports like the NFL. The only problem, MMA isn't a team sport. The IFL did offer extra incentives that the UFC did not, like being paid a salary and also receiving health benefits. UFC President Dana White soon developed a grudge against the IFL after one of their top executives went to work for the competition. Afterwards, White stated, "I'm going to fucking crush these guys." When the dust settles, anyone associated with the IFL would not be associated with the UFC. The team format for the IFL never really took off. Even after signing TV deals with HDNet, MyNetworkTV, and Fox Sports Net, ratings continued to drop. The IFL also came under fire due to some poor promotional decisions, teasing the audience with the promise of a fighter leaving on a stretcher and using serious injuries as a cliffhanger to keep viewers watching. The IFL ceased operations in 2008, and it's assumed that the UFC may have purchased the company after airing clips from the show, as well as signing several IFL fighters. Oh, and many of the people with the IFL did go on to be associated with the UFC. And a few honorable mentions. Original co-founder of the UFC, Bob Myrowitz, sold his stake in the company to start his own MMA promotion years later titled Yama Pit Fighting. The company began operations in early 2008 and were out of business by mid-2008, holding just one event.
The Yama, an evolution of the traditional fighting structure. The Yama, which will change fight strategy forever in the mixed martial arts world.
The WFA signed several big-name fighters to their promotion, including Matt Lindland, Quinton Jackson, Boss Rutan, and Lyoto Machida. Then they realized they couldn't afford them and closed down the business in 2006.
Hey, this is Tiffany, and I'm here with Tracy. And tonight we're at the World Fighting Alliance. We are inside the ring. Check me out, baby. This is where we're going to go out to be. To land against the wall. I'm going to sit here, and I'm going to fight with Tracy. We're going to get a real big fight. We're going to get all psyched up for the extreme fighting, and we're going to learn more about this sport, aren't we? Yes, we are.
Bodog Online Gambling started their own MMA show in 2006, holding 13 events and ceased operations in 2008. While not a very good company, their promotional material was top-notch. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe.